I think toxic masculinity has been a term and a phrase that's been weaponized and then used against men to make men feel less than. And I've found that even if there are aspects of masculinity that are carried to excess that end up being harmful to both men and the women and the people in their lives.
Blake Lively is already knee-deep in a $400 million lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and now, because things clearly weren't chaotic enough, she's getting hit with a fresh $7 million defamation suit from PR consultant Jed Wallace. Yep, you heard that right. PR consultant Jed Wallace, the guy she publicly accused of running a smear campaign against her, is now flipping the script and dragging her to court. And he's not asking for pocket change. $7 million is no joke, even for A-list celebrities who own more handbags than we have socks. It might seem less than Baldoni's $700 million, but getting one shock after another can be very frustrating.
As himself. At one point, he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." None of this was remotely in character or based on any dialogue in the script, and nothing needed to be said because, again, there was no sound.
And let's be real, at this point, this whole situation is starting to feel less like a legal dispute and more like the most dramatic season of Gossip Girl ever. The accusations, the counter-accusations, the he said, she said back and forth. Hollywood hasn't served up drama this juicy since Johnny Depp and Amber Heard were throwing lawsuits at each other like dodgeballs. So what's really going on here? Are these lawsuits exposing Hollywood's ugly underbelly? Or is this just another high-profile feud spinning out of control? And what's with Taylor Swift in this case? Jed Wallace's argument says Lively had zero proof when she made her accusations and only started scrambling for evidence after she had already put him on blast. Even more shocking, Wallace says he has never even met or spoken to Lively. According to him, her claims were not just reckless, but completely made up, and they've damaged his reputation and career. He's painting her as someone who threw out serious accusations without checking the facts first, and now he wants her to pay for it. He has been losing millions of clients due to her false accusations, and now he just wants her to make up for it. Of course, Blake's legal team had a comeback for this. According to them, it's another day, another state, another 9-figure lawsuit seeking to sue Ms. Lively into oblivion for speaking out against sexual harassment and retaliation. Blake Lively pointed to a specific onset moment as proof that he had acted inappropriately. That was supposed to be the smoking gun, the undeniable evidence. But then Baldoni dropped the full unedited footage of that very moment. And let's just say things got awkward. Instead of revealing any inappropriate behavior, the video allegedly showed nothing but a standard professional interaction. No misconduct, no harassment, just business as usual. So now we have a classic Hollywood standoff. Was this a misunderstanding on Lively's part, or is there more to the story that the footage doesn't capture? When It Ends With Us was first announced, you'd think Blake Lively would take the opportunity to highlight the serious themes in the movie: domestic violence, emotional trauma, and the struggles of escaping an abusive relationship. I mean, that's what the book was about, right? But instead of treating the subject matter with the weight it deserved, her entire approach to promoting the movie felt,
those kind of clothes that you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, working in
Everyone
digital...
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's suits and how
That's what I'm saying. His wardrobe was beautiful.
I know.
Corey's wardrobe was gorgeous. Those high-waisted pants.
that's straight mean girl energy. Ignoring the host and pretending you only vibe with your best friend, instead of having deep discussions about the reality of abusive relationships, she turned it into a quirky, lighthearted rom-com. Interviews, social media posts, and even on-set moments all carried this playful tone, which left many fans confused and even disappointed.
Really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
And then, just when things seemed to be cooling down, the legal war between her and Justin Baldoni exploded. Right after Lively filed her lawsuit against him, the New York Times suddenly published a damning article about Baldoni. Convenient timing, right? Baldoni's team wasted no time calling it out, accusing Lively's camp of orchestrating the hit piece while simultaneously claiming she was was the victim of a smear campaign. Who's plotting the actual campaign here? Things got even more suspicious when allegedly some key text messages were carefully omitted from the article, messages that might have painted a much different picture of what actually went down. Selectively cutting out important context? That's one way to frame someone as the villain.
I defend Justin Baldoni in this lawsuit with Blake Lively because I think she's horrible and she's made up this whole thing because she tried to steal his movie. But he is the most overly feminized man I've had to...
Many people are calling it out after listening to the other side now, because behind the scenes of It Ends With Us, things weren't exactly smooth sailing, especially when it came to creative control. Blake Lively reportedly wanted to rewrite a key rooftop scene in the film, which, according to her, needed some serious changes. Maybe she thought it wasn't hitting the right emotional notes, or maybe she just wanted more influence over the script, but when she brought the idea to Justin Baldoni, he wasn't on board.
Blake Lively did not even read the book that the movie was based on.
Correct.
And we're not talking War and Peace. And then she wanted to, ixnayed all of the wardrobe choices, because when you're making a movie about a poor woman who's suffering from domestic violence, you want her to look like she has money.
Right.
That Blake said.
That's what she did.
She looks like she has money.
Yep.
And she's dressing in florals. And then she's going on this press tour, pushing her liquor line and her hair care line, because that's what women who are trying to escape with their lives are worried about.
That's what generated her negative press and led to a series of clips of her being insensitive in one way, shape, or form with other interviewers in the past. She has no one to blame but herself for that.
The press tour is part of that pay package.
Right.
You have to show up with a smile on your face and be polite to people who are not lobbing, difficult questions at you. They're softballs.
Now, Baldoni wasn't outright dismissing her. He tried to meet her halfway, looking for a compromise that would work for both of them, but apparently that wasn't enough. The disagreement quickly escalated, and suddenly, this wasn't just about a script change anymore. It was a full-on power struggle. Lively brought in her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and best friend, Taylor Swift. Yes, you read that right. Lively's husband and her best friend allegedly stepped into the mix, confronting Baldoni in a meeting. Was it a friendly discussion, a heated argument? That part's unclear, but according to Baldoni, it felt like a coordinated power move to pressure him into giving in.
Coming out swinging, and that is super interesting. An article just dropped about an hour ago in TMZ against Blake Lively in the press. Taylor Swift is alleging that Blake Lively is lying, but is Taylor telling the truth, or is this just a strategy to save her own skin? I don't know, guys. And don't worry, for those of you who have been hitting me up asking if I'm going to give my thoughts.
Candace Owens has been filling in with the actual facts of what might have been brewing in reality. And surprise, surprise, she's got some thoughts about Taylor Swift. According to Owens, Swift's involvement in the whole Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni situation isn't just about friendship. Nope. Owens suggests there's a bigger game at play. She claims Swift is strategically aligning herself with Lively to sway public perception, using her massive influence to tip the scales in Lively's favor. She's also taken this opportunity to criticize Swift's carefully curated public image, questioning how genuine she really is. According to Owens, Swift has a habit of stepping into controversies at just the right moment, not out of moral obligation, but to boost her own narrative. Whether it's politics, celebrity feuds, or now this legal battle, Owens argues that Swift always manages to position herself as the righteous hero. Of course, Swift's fans aren't having it. They argue she's just supporting her close friend through a tough situation. But according to Owens, this isn't about friendship. This is PR at its finest. Now, Blake Lively's legal team seems to be playing a game of chess, but some moves are raising eyebrows. Initially, they pushed for a deposition from PR consultant Jed Wallace, the guy she accused of orchestrating a smear campaign. But then out of nowhere, they withdrew the request. Now, if they were so confident in their claims, why backtrack? That's the question everyone's asking. Some see it as a strategic retreat, while others think it signals a lack of solid evidence. But Lively isn't backing down entirely. Instead, she's shifting her focus. Her team is now going after Justin Baldoni's phone records, his publicist, and even his crisis management expert, hoping to prove that he was behind a calculated attack on her reputation. The idea is that if they can find messages or communications that suggest Baldoni was coordinating with Wallace or the media, it could validate her claims of a smear campaign. This move shows that Lively's legal team is determined to gather proof if it exists, but it also raises another question. Why didn't they have this evidence before making the allegations? If they do find something, it could turn the case in Lively's favor. If they don't, well, things could get even messier for her. When Blake Lively first came forward with her allegations, public support was overwhelmingly in her favor. Social media erupted with messages of solidarity, and many saw her as the latest woman in Hollywood bravely speaking out against misconduct. But as more details emerged and as Baldoni dropped his so-called receipts, things started to shift. Suddenly, people weren't so sure. Baldoni's unedited footage directly contradicted Lively's claims about on-set behavior, leaving many wondering if there was more to the story than what was initially presented. Some fans who had been firmly on Lively's side began questioning the narrative, while others doubled down in her defense, arguing that just because something isn't caught on camera doesn't mean it didn't happen. The media, of course, is having a field day with all of this. Some outlets are carefully treading the line, reporting the developments neutrally. Others have taken clear sides, with certain publications portraying Lively as a victim fighting against a deeply entrenched Hollywood system, while others paint her as someone who strategically weaponized public opinion. Celebrities have also weighed in, some urging people to wait for all the facts. And then there's the bigger issue, trial by media. Both Lively and Baldoni are now seeing their reputation shaped not just in court, but in the court of public opinion. If Lively's claims hold up, Baldoni's career could take a major hit. But if her accusations fall apart, it could backfire on her in ways she never anticipated. With neither side willing to settle behind closed doors, this case is officially heading to trial. Mediation was on the table, but both Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni refused to budge, ensuring that every detail of their legal battle would play out in the public eye. The trial, scheduled for next year, is shaping up to be one of Hollywood's most dissected court cases. Every claim, text message, and legal maneuver will be scrutinized, not just by the judge, but by the media and millions of people watching from the sidelines. What's at stake? A lot more than just legal fees. Lively's credibility is on the line. For Baldoni, it's a battle to clear his name and prevent his career from being permanently tarnished. By the time this trial is over, careers could be made or broken. And with both sides unwilling to back down, it's only going to get messier from here.